Hey beautiful family. You know, I spend a lot of time trying to find somewhere quiet to do videos. But as a father and having many dogs and being in a country where there's a lot going on, it's not easy. But I learned something recently. When you throw a little stone into a pond, it casts ripples. But when you throw a larger stone, it casts ripples that overtake and cover up those smaller ripples. My prayer, my centeredness, must be the larger stone. My prayer, my centeredness must cast the larger ripples. So I am trying now to learn that, and because of that, sometimes I'll choose different settings for my videos where I force myself that my presence will be louder than those smaller ripples of the background noise disturbing me. Prayer should be that way. Yesterday, a friend of mine also said to me, "What's going on with your YouTube?" Because when they spoke to me last, I said to them, who am I to teach? And actually who I am is who I am. And I am leads into this story. But I guess it also leads into the fact that we as human beings can be in varying different states of consciousness and awareness. And when we are in a certain state of consciousness, then our vibratory state does not match the true reality. There is only one truth, there is only one reality, and multiple billions of perceptions upon that. But if we all learn to find the true centered vibration of who we are, there is only one immovable truth. I guess for me recently, I haven't been in a space where I felt I was able to do that, nor did I, because of processing things, because of dealing with the things like forgiveness I mentioned in my recent video, dealing with things like grief, etc. I was not in the right space to share the song of my heart regarding these topics. And the topics I'm referring to are you seeing me sharing the truth of my inner work in relation to the great spiritual texts on the planet, and in particular for me in my cultural upbringing, the Bible being the main focus of that. So I'm just in a different state of consciousness lately. I'm in a different state of myself with a more open heart. And I am that I am leads into what I'm about to talk about. Because what I want to remind you all and tell you all is that you should be talking to the burning bush, and from there you should hear the voice of God. And you can do that perhaps today, perhaps this week, perhaps this month. But it's your right to have that sacred, honorable, truthful presence of yourself in this world, that you may commune with God through the burning bush. Now, if you don't know the story, of course, the story goes that Moses climbs a mountain. I'm going to condense this. Moses climbs a mountain, and on that mountain he meets a burning bush, and from the burning bush comes the voice of God. And the voice of God explains the plight of the Israelites and explains how Moses will lead them away from Egypt and away from Pharaoh and to a promised land. This is the literal sense. This is absolutely fine, and I take nothing away from that story. But there's another story within there, and this is your burning bush. This is not historical, this is you today. You live it. You be the Moses, you speak to the burning bush. It's yours. Take it in all righteousness and own it. So that's the literal story, and it brings great motivation and love to a lot of persons' lives. But it also leaves people often wondering, why can't I have that experience? Why can't I talk to God? Well, let us look if this story is trying to tell you that you can. Not only that, it's trying to show you that you should. So I have said this many times in all the videos, but you need this as a framework to understand this story. The mystic side of the Bible has a code, and inside that code are depictions of the levels of consciousness, and there are 4 levels, and the 5th being a renewed mind. The 4 levels are earth, water, air, fire. They coincide with the brain cycles of modern science: beta, alpha, theta, delta. When you can understand those 2, you begin to understand something very important. So Moses goes up a mountain. He goes to the higher place, the higher realm of human consciousness. He elevates his consciousness through fasting, prayer, whatever means. Whilst up there, he is raising up through those levels of consciousness, earth, water, air, and he reaches fire. When he reaches fire, the burning bush represents that state of consciousness. And from that state, you can commune with God. The lower state, you are not necessarily a vibratory match for the light, wonderful, loving vibration of Mother, Father, Creator. And so, as we understand this and we see what's going on, you climb up through your consciousness to meet that level of consciousness which is fire. And of course, as John the Baptist told us, John the Baptist baptizes you with water. John the Baptist is the initial stage where you raise from earth to water. But he said, one will come after me who will baptize you with fire. And of course, that is the Christ. The Christ is found in those higher states of being. When we fast, it is undoubted that your consciousness elevates and you reach up to those theta states, and that's where you commune with Mother, Father, Creator. God also says within there, Moses asks his name, he says, I am that I am. But he has told him about fleeing Egypt and liberating the Israelites from the Pharaoh. Egypt is the lower mind. The Pharaoh is the expression of that through the ego. The Israelites are your carnal thoughts dancing around, and Moses is you. Moses is the great shepherd, you, the great shepherd of your soul that must control your thoughts, not control them as in decide what comes, control what you give attention to. Make sure that they coincide with the actions that you believe you should be acting out in your heart, coincide with morality. You must take the Israelites, your thoughts. Moses must take the Israelites. You must take the Israelites, your thoughts, from the lower nature of Egypt. And you must go to the promised land. And the ego will chase you down. He will chase you down constantly, the Pharaoh. This is the journey all of us live every single day. We all know that we do. This is the journey. When you reach that higher place, God can reveal this to you. The burning bush, the fire level of consciousness can reveal it to you. You need to escape your lower self, the bondage of it, and you need to go with Pharaoh, away from Pharaoh, your ego. when we come to truly understand that, you reach a very peculiar place as well. Because as it says, when Moses asks the name of God, he says, I am that I am. Now, how can you read that? It's very important. I am that I am. I am love. I am. I am forgiveness. I am. I am with God. I am. I am good. I am. I am forgiven. I am. It's a very interesting use of the words in our own life. But if you read God's name literally, it says, I am that. I am. Now, when you raise to the higher level of consciousness, the mountain, and you access the fire level state of being, theta, you can commune with the burning bush. From there, secrets can be revealed to you by the Lord, by spirit, by vibrations that don't mess about with these lower vibrations most of us live in all the time. And in there you gain the understanding and the insight that quite simply, it's your job to flee the lower nature. The ego will chase you, but if you persist, you will reach a promised land. And that promised land is a state of great freedom, nestled with the Lord in his protection and in his love, separated from the lower self, separated from the lower impulses. And do you stay permanently in that state? Do you stay permanently in the promised land? The Israelites wandered for 40 years in the desert, the wilderness. The wilderness is indeed your mind. You will not stay in the promised land forever. The reality is that we all dip back to Egypt daily. This is a constant journey. It can be an hourly journey, a 10-minute journey. But so long as you understand that there is a promised land to reach and you don't remain in complete 100% bondage of Egypt, you stand a chance of communing with Mother, Father, Creator, and serving God with all of your might and walking by faith and not sight. And a great many on this planet do not do that. But they do love God. But they don't yet have the faith to step out and do as he asks. Or have the skill, is not the right word, the experience to actually commune with him. It's all still hearsay. It's all still God, 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 and not receiving, not hearing. But I know that I communicate with God. I know that God guides my life. And I know that one of the main reasons I can do this is because I met that burning bush during my 40 days and 40 nights of fasting, and my eyes were opened. My eyes were opened to the Egypt, the bondage that I'd lived in for so long. And my eyes were opened to the pursuit the Pharaoh had on me to take me back to that bondage. And my eyes were opened to the fact that the Red Sea, my emotions, had to be crossed. For to live in emotion is to live in a state of disempowerment. And my eyes were opened to all of that, because from the promised land I could look back upon it without partaking in it. Be the Moses of your own life, and you too can speak to the burning bush. God bless you all, guys. I love you. Bye.